This is going to be a quick video tutorial on how to create aura icons for RedtuzkUI for tracking cooldowns and buffs, as well as debuffs on your target. So in Redtuzk's UI, he includes WeakAuras. The ones he includes are a durability weak aura, an all-purpose power bar, which I'm actually using, you can see here. And he also includes a set of icons for tracking Havoc Demon Hunter abilities. So if you're not playing a Havoc Demon Hunter and you'd like to make some for your own abilities, that's what this video is for. So if that's what you're looking to do, you can open the WeakAuras config by typing /WA, and it'll cause every WeakAura you have installed to appear. Now, I'm using my own WeakAuras set, so you can just ignore basically all of this stuff. Now, if you want to make some that match Red's auras, you can go to Red's aura group. I have just the one icon in here because I just use it as a sample to make auras for other people. But you'll have the whole set, and doesn't make a difference. So to create a new aura, you can just right-click on one of the existing ones, and then click duplicate, and it'll automatically copy the settings from the previous one onto a new aura. You can name the new one whatever you like. The first thing I'm going to show you how to do is to create an aura to track the cooldown of an ability. So just name it whatever ability you're going to track. So then, once you've done that, you can adjust any of these appearance settings if you want it to be different or not. And then you'll want to go to the trigger. That's going to be the most important part here. Now, to track the cooldown of an ability, you need to make sure this type is set to status, and then you'll want cooldown progress spell. If you'd like to track the cooldown of an item, like an on-use trinket, you can change it to cooldown progress item instead. And then once you've done that, you want to put the spell name in here. And if you're using automatic icon in the display, it will automatically pick up on the icon for whatever ability you're going to track and put that here for you. There's also these settings here you can see. You can track based on the remaining time for your cooldown, and you can also track based on charges if your ability has charges on it. You just change this operator here to whatever you like. So this is not equal to for anyone who's unfamiliar with that syntax, and then you just set the number of charges here. If you don't care about it, you can just turn it off or leave it blank. It doesn't really matter. And then the last thing to adjust is the show condition. So you can change this so the ability will only be shown while it's on cooldown, which will give you this icon and this little progress texture here when your ability's on cooldown. You can set it to always, which will make it so the icon appears with a little progress texture when the ability's on cooldown, and when your ability's not on cooldown, you'll just see the icon just plain. Or you can have it show only when not on cooldown, which will give you the icon only when the ability is usable, and it'll hide it if the ability is not usable. I'll leave it to on cooldown. The last thing to check before you give your aura a test is to go to the load conditions. Now I have it set to never because I don't use these icons myself, but you want to make sure that's not on. And then because Redtuzk is playing a Demon Hunter right now, most of his auras are limited to only load for Demon Hunters. Now if you're not playing a Demon Hunter, obviously you're going to need to change this to whatever class you're on. I'm playing a Druid. If you have an aura that you'd like to just show all the time, you can uncheck player class to just have it show all the time. Or you can track multiple classes by clicking it twice, and then just select all the classes you want to show. But I'll leave it just to track my Druid. You can also change it to work based on spec. So like if I only want it to show when I'm playing Guardian. And you can also change it so it'll only show if you have a talent selected. This is really useful if you're going to track something from a talent. And there's a bunch of other things in here that you can fiddle with if you want. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. So then once that's done, you can give it a try. So I can just walk up to this dummy here and push thrash, and there I have my icon that shows up. Now, if you'd like to track an ability that has charges on it, and you want to be able to see the number of charges you have left, stop that. Galactic Guardian. Great talent. You can change it to an ability that has one. One of my abilities that has charges is Survival Instincts. And then to track the charges, all you have to do is put in %s here. And if you're tracking an ability that has charges on it, %s will automatically start tracking charges instead of stacks. See, you can see here that it shows 1 left here because I have 1 charge left. And this is my own aura. Works basically the same, just slightly different positioning. So that's how you make an aura to track a cooldown. If you'd like to track a buff instead, you can do the exact same thing. Just take one of the pre-existing icons and click duplicate and name it to whatever buff you're going to track. I'll go ahead and track bark skin. To track a buff on yourself, you want to change the trigger type to an aura instead, and then you can enter the aura name here. This works the exact same way if you want to track a debuff on your target. Just put in the aura name, make sure it's on aura, and all of that. If you're tracking a buff on yourself, you want to make sure the unit is player and that the aura type is a buff. If you'd like to track a debuff instead, you just change this to target and debuff. Now, if you are tracking a debuff, I'd recommend you check this own only, because, like, say you're a druid and you have thrash, which debuffs your target, you don't want to track any other thrashes done by any other druids. You only want to see yours, so you want to turn that own only on. And then once that's done, it should just work. There you go. Now I have a nice little aura icon, as well as my own progress bar here for tracking the bark skin cooldown, or the bark skin duration. There's my cooldown aura. So that's pretty much it. That works for tracking the cooldowns of abilities, even ones with charges, and that works for tracking buffs and debuffs on yourself or a target or anything you like. And that's going to be all I cover in this video. If there's a demand for other types of auras, then I will make another video for those. Alright, thanks for watching. Hopefully you can get your RedTuzkUI working just the way you want now.